introduce Mr. Suresh Prabhu. Mr. Prabhu, now, aside from his current role as being the Sherpa for the Prime Minister for the G20, has an enormous experience in industry, as well as he has in his position in government. He's been the Minister for Industry, for Environment, for Electricity, Energy. So, he has a wide variety of experiences, but I know that environment and sustainability are at the core of everything that Suresh believes in. So I'm now going to request Suresh to give us a few words on how he believes we are going to be able to get out of this situation with very low or no growth, no jobs, or very few jobs, and how do we get out of a situation in which we are trapped in on a poor economy and which is here to stay for some time at least until some solutions are found. Thank you, Suresh.
So, I'm really thankful to our great industry leader as well as someone who always has put the public good ahead of his private profits, and somebody who has been championing the cause of sustainability for a long time, Mr. Rakshit Godrej, and also Mr. Sanjeev Puri, who has not only been now chairing the CIITC Sustainability Center, of which I used to be a very integral part for many, many years, including chairman of the jury, which used to give awards for sustainability, and Mr. Lee for giving such new dimension to the ideas of it. So, actually, for the first time, I would say, in almost 100 years, we are thinking that something must have gone wrong the way we have been living our lives. Because we fought wars, major wars, 2 world wars. Then we had a huge depression. Actually, it is debatable whether depression got over because of war. But we had a very substantial expansion of global economy in the course of last few decades, very substantially. Barring a decade and a half, last decade and a half, particularly after 2008, there was a little bit of rethinking on the way we have been living lives. Otherwise, we are under an impression the economy can only grow. It will constantly bring in more and more economic activity, will bring in, hopefully, prosperity, and prosperity will bring in happiness. This pandemic has put a big question mark about this premise itself. That whether we can continue to live the life the way we are lived, and also at the same time, and this is very important, that actually it has put a new, at least people are forced to think that nobody in the planet, 7.3, 7.4 billion people, are immune from a challenge like a health emergency, which is now manifested into a pandemic. We have realized that everybody, each one of us, rich, poor, developed country, developing countries, north countries, south countries, all of us will be very equally, or probably some will be affected more, but all of us, nobody is immune from it, will be affected equally. And therefore, we must now start thinking about what is that life which can be sustainable. Because as I said, these last few decades of expansion, what we thinking that is the best way to sustain ourselves. So now it's a time to put new definition, new contours of sustainability into place. So far, particularly after the Rio one, we are talked about sustainability in a very substantial way. Then different dimensions are added to sustainability. But essentially, sustainability was seen to be largely an environmental issue because Rio conference was for sustainability, so that's summit. Now I think we need to put so many different aspects of sustainability and articulate them better and integrate them together. One, which is affecting now, is what is the role of governments into all this. The governments globally, I would say, this pandemic has affected the people, and people have been affected in different ways. One way is health-wise, other way is economy-wise. So the real burden of pandemic is borne by the people of the world. And government job is always to take care of the people. So governments are affected because people are affected. But governments are affected in many other ways. One, the whole structure of governance will have to be thought again and revisited. Like in case of US, there are 50 states. Each state governor, each city mayor has been now thinking about taking care of his city, his state, and therefore now the whole concept of running a country is now has to be seen in a different perspective. In India, the states are playing very key role, and the Prime Minister has already said, our Prime Minister of India, that states will have to be said about coming out of the lockdown. So the whole role of governance to keep a sustainable society will be now revisited. I'm not expanding too much because of very paucity of time. The second part will be the role of political aspect of it. This sustainability has to be politically pliable. Environmental issues, you are thinking that they are only to be discussed once in a while, but not necessarily to be integrated into the public policy. I bet it can be done by one ministry of the government anywhere in the world. In US, they have a EPA, Environment Protection Agency, not even the ministry, but some person who heads it is a member of the cabinet. But it was thought to be that one department, one ministry, one organization will deal with it. The rest of the government, rest of the society has nothing to do with it. Now we have realized, and I'm making a statement which has yet to be properly corroborated and proved, but this pandemic has also something to do with environmental degradation, loss of biodiversity, making ourselves away and not keeping enough space for the animals. So the animal-borne diseases are now carried to the human. So the whole issue of environment now will be coming into force in a different basis. It has been thought about not just as just one day of 5th of June that we have to think about it on the World Environment Day, but it has to be now integrated into a day-to-day life because it is affecting everybody's life. So sustainability will have to be thought about in a different. Politically, as I was saying, politically, therefore, political discourse now will change. There are some countries who have disregarded science, disregarded evidence, and said climate change is a hoax. They will have to revisit it politically, and the political discourse will have to change to bring sustainability as part of a political discourse. Technology. And actually, we can solve this problem by technology. How? We are saying that we need a vaccine to take care of a virus, or we need a medicine to take care of it. All these will emanate from technology. But the technology not just for healthcare, but what kind of technologies we should deploy in the world, as Mr. Puri was talking about in agriculture, water, or anywhere, or Mr. Lee was talking about urbanization. We'll have to think about a completely different technologies application to make them sustainability proof, part of sustainability. And then economic. We are today suffering the worst ever economic contraction all over the world. World economy contracting, national economies are contracting, and that is putting so much of unbearable pain on the lives of people. So economic consequences of sustainability are huge. So what will mean by the economic consequences of pandemic are huge. So economic consideration now will have to be put in to make sustainability a very important aspect of economic development. And therefore, the new dimension will have to be added to this. Also, the society. Ultimately, the way we live our life, our way of life, manifests into economic activity. My way of life demands that I must have 5 cars. So that is what is resulting into demand for 5 cars. My lifestyle demands that I must have thousands of electric bulbs in my house. So that is what is creating demand for the bulbs. So the lifestyle itself, the society lifestyle, the social aspect of this will have to be also revisited and put into the whole process of doing business or sustainability. And then the whole issues of globalization will have to be revisited. We are integrated whether we like it or not. Otherwise, why one country's problem becomes global problem today? And therefore, globalization is a reality, we cannot avoid it. But can we add a new dimension to globalization wherein each citizen benefits from it, but at the same time, we can create a firewall wherein we get protected also from the ill effect of this integration that we have together. We need integration, but how can we ensure that we also have a safety wall integrated into it? And that is what we have to think about the different aspect of globalization from this perspective. And a most important part, because here is a organization largely of people doing business, and we must we understand it more than any other time. Economic activity, people's incomes will be affected, therefore livelihood will be affected. So business will have to be an important element of growth in the modern world. But that business also must integrate sustainability like Godrej Group has done, like ITC Group has done. In fact, one of the silent feature of ITC that despite the hospitality business, the agriculture business, they create net water. How is it possible? I know it, but I don't want to expand it because but this is all possible. We can think about business solution. So business is necessary. It's the heart of economy. Business is heart of society. But at the same time, business itself can innovate ideas all of this is going to lead to adverse impact on employment. Therefore, how do you ensure to create more jobs in future by keeping all these sustainability issues in mind? In fact, the people who have followed sustainability in a limited span in the past have created more jobs than those who disregarded sustainability. Now, if you create a new paradigm and weave around it a new dimension, you can create more jobs. Maybe more jobs in rural areas, more jobs in sectors which you never thought were necessary. Like, for example, the energy mix itself, we change solar energy and bring more solar energy into it. There may be more jobs created to take care of solar energy infrastructure, to create it and to maintain it subsequently. And because solar energy is making power available in a different way and probably through a microgrid, more economic activity can come out of it. So I think we need to think together. But this is a warning for all of us. This is something which is a wake-up call. I am sure we have woken up to the reality of pandemic. We should also get alarmed by this and wake up to a new beginning that we can make together. Every wake up makes a new beginning. We get up in the morning and start doing a new day. I think this is a new wake up call for us to make new beginning towards a better life for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Suresh. Really appreciate your very wide address on this issue. I think industry and, of course, the country is very concerned about economic growth and jobs. And this is something that will have to occupy a lot of our time as we go forward. And CAII, of course, is at the forefront of suggesting changes. And the government also in the recent days have suggested many, many new things and new ways of doing things. So let me come to a few